Hello everyone, welcome to the Entry app. Today we are going to do the current affairs of 21st and 22nd June. These have been compiled by me, Bhavna, from all the important news sources, which includes the Indian Express, the Hindu, PIB, and all the other important news sources. So this is a quick overview of today's session, the order in which we would be covering the news. This includes the national news, defense news, international news, states news, economy, banking, and business related news, people in news, and important days. Let's start with the first session, which is our national news and COVID 19 related news. The first news of the day talks about a first of its kind rescue of tiger after DNA match was done. A cub was rescued from a ditch at a farm in Chichpali Forest Range of Chandrapur district in Maharashtra. This was almost a 2 months old cub whose blood sample was actually matched with the two tigress who were moving with cubs in that area. After the sample match was done, and they could find out, the forest officers could find out who's the actual mother of that cub. They have decided to rescue and reunite this cub with its mother. It has happened for the first time that a tiger has been made to meet its mother after doing a DNA match. The next news of the day is low cost COVID 19 kits have been developed by IIT Guwahati. So, IIT Guwahati has developed different kinds of kits which are helpful in COVID 19. The first of them is VTM kits. Now, what does this VTM stands for? Viral Transport Media Kits. RT-PCR kits. RT-PCR stands for real-time polymerase chain reaction kits, and RNA isolation kits. The first lot of these 20,000 VTM kits have been used to keep the collected nasal and throat swab samples, and these were handed over to the Assam government. Now, the VTM kit is suitable for collection, transport, and long-term freezer storage of swab samples. The formulation of transport medium helps in preserving the viability of viruses for up to 72 hours at refrigerated temperatures. This is again a news related to COVID-19. MHA committee recommends reduction of COVID treatment costs in private hospitals in Delhi. This comes a day after when this committee, which was headed by Niti Aayog member Dr. VK Paul, had recommended Delhi government to cut down the price of COVID-19 tests, which now, after taking into consideration, has been kept at 2400 rupees. Now, this committee has also recommended that the isolation bed should be in range of 8,000 to 10,000 a day from the existing 24,000 to 25,000 a day, and an ICU bed without ventilator, it is suggested that it should be about 13,000 to 15,000 a day, and for an ICU bed with ventilator, it should come down to rupees 15,000 to 18,000 a day. So these are just the recommendation. Delhi government is yet to implement and yet to think and implement these. The next news is India's first ever climate change assessment, climate change tracker, has been released. So this is India's first national report on the state of climate crisis. This has been titled Assessment of Climate Change over the Indian Region. This has been prepared under the aegis of Ministry of Earth Sciences and has been edited by the scientists of Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. Now, this report says that India's average temperature has increased by 0.7 degrees Celsius between 1901 to 2018, and this is completely due to the emission of greenhouse gases. It goes on to say that India's temperature will rise by 2.7 degrees Celsius by 2099, and in case of worst case scenario, it may also see a 4.4 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. So it says the sea level near Mumbai is rising at a rate of 3 centimeter per decade, and of the Bengal coast, it's rising about 5 centimeter per decade. Surface temperatures in the Indian Ocean, which including the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, have risen by 1 degree Celsius between 1915 to 2015. Sorry, between 1951 to 2015. This is higher than the global average. It also says precipitation, which includes the rainfall and snowfall over the North India, has decreased by 6% due to polluting aerosol brown cloud. Overall, it says that monsoon is expected to become more extreme over the coming decades, with longer dry spells alternating with very heavy rain. Now, let's move on to the defense news section. IAF, which is the Indian Air Force, to urgently procure 21 MiG-29S and 12 Sukhoi 30S So, because of this face-off and high tension situation of India and China, India is fast tracking the process of purchasing of an additional 21 MiG-29 fighter jets and 12 Sukhoi Su-30 MKI aircrafts from Russia. And these new fighter jets will be brought in a government-to-government deal with Russia, and this approximate cost is expected to be around 6,000 crores. Our Indian Air Force Chief is Mr. Rakesh Kumar Bhadoria. MiG-29 are manufactured by this Russian company by the name Mikoyan, and Sukhoi Su-30 MKI is manufactured by Russian company Sukhoi, but under the license for this is being manufactured in India by HAL, which is the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, under the license. Now let's look at the international news. A very important news: the United States Supreme Court has ruled that the existing federal law forbids job discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or transgender status. The court has said that Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 makes it illegal for employers to discriminate because of a person's sex, among the other factors. So this also covers sexual orientation and transgender status. This ruling means federal law now provides similar protection for the LGBTQ employees in the rest of the country. LGBTQ stands for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, and queers. With this ruling, the LGBTQ community would also be protected under the existing federal law of the United States. This is again a very important news. So Sweden has officially closed the world's longest police investigation, which was into the assassination, that is the killing of its former Prime Minister, Olof Palme. So the prosecutor in charge said that there was reasonable evidence against the suspect, which was Stig Engstrom. He was a graphic artist with an insurance company, but there could be no prosecution as the man was now dead. Now, this assassination of Mr. Palme had come as a shock to the Sweden, and it was seen as a defining moment in how the country saw itself and its place in the world. It was Sweden's first political killing in nearly 200 years. Now let's look at the important states news. Uttar Pradesh has become the first top state in the country to provide employment to workers under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, that is also known as MGNREGA. So 57 lakh 12,975 workers got employment in around 57,000 village panchayats of the state, which is almost 18% of the total work that is generated under this MGNREGA Act. The state has been successful to generate 7.93 crore man days, and government will provide jobs to almost 10 lakh more workers in the coming days. A quick fact related to Jammu and Kashmir: the Agriculture Department of Jammu Kashmir has changed its name to Agriculture Production and Farmers Welfare Department. This decision to change the nomenclature has been in line with the center's renaming Agriculture Ministry as Ministry of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare. The department has expanded its role beyond the arrangement of inputs, activities, and on-farm activities. The next news also talks about a name change. So Maharashtra has renamed its Environment Department as Environment and Climate Change Ministry. This department is handled by Shiv Sena MLA Aditya Thackeray. The move will help the department to play an active role in climate change mitigation. A very important news because it's an app that has been launched in context of COVID-19. So Mumbai has launched an anti-Venti mobile application, which is available on the Google Play Store. This has been developed by Octaware Technologies Limited in partnership with Probity Soft Private Limited. And what does this app do? This app helps the residents in the city to know about the availability of intensive care unit beds and ventilators in both government and private hospitals around them. Now we'll be looking at the important economy, banking and business related news. So MNRE, which is the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, has issued an order for setting up a project development cell within the ministry. This cell would be established under the authority of Ministry's Joint Secretary, who is Mr. Amit Kumar Sinha. This cell will offer investment to those renewable energy projects where all necessary works like detailed project report, land availability, etc. have been completed. It will also identify the issues that need to be resolved to attract investment and finalize it. The cell will refer those issues to the empowered group. Now in the comment section, you're going to tell me who is our Union Minister of New and Renewable Energy. Again, a very important news. Union Minister for Coals, Mines and Parliamentary Affairs, Mr. Prahlad Joshi, has launched Satyambha. Now, Satyambha stands for Science and Technology Yojana for Atmanirbhar Bharat in Mining Advancement. This is a portal for science and technology program scheme of Ministry of Mines. It has been developed, designed and implemented by National Informatics Center's Mines Informatics Division. This portal has been integrated with NGO Darpan portal of Niti Aayog and aims to increase the efficiency and effectiveness in the implementation of the schemes related to this sector. Again, a very, very important news. Bank of Baroda has decided to completely digitize its lending operations. Bank of Baroda, which is India's third largest bank and recently has completed its merger process with the Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank, has completely decided to digitize the lending operations. Now, lending operations means basically giving out the loans, and it wants to cover all the loans that it gives, like home, agriculture, MSME, personal and auto loans. It wants to completely do away with paper based lending. Now, Bank of Baroda is headquartered in Baroda, Gujarat. Hasmukh Adhia is the chairman and Sanjeev Chadda is the MD and CEO. Again, a very important news. Reliance Industries has become the first Indian company to be valued at $150 billion. It is the first ever Indian company to achieve a market value of above rupees 11 lakh crores. It is among the most valued energy companies in the world. It is headquartered in Mumbai and its CEO is Mukesh Ambani. It is also one of the major shareholders, approximately 74% in the Jio platforms. Niti Aayog has formed a panel to develop job platforms for migrant laborers. Government think tank Niti Aayog has formed a panel which includes top officials from tech companies like Google, Microsoft, Tech Mahindra, and they have been tasked to develop a job portal for migrant laborers. So the goal of this platform is actually to help blue collar workers. Now, who are blue collar workers? Blue collar workers are basically people who perform a lot of manual works. So this platform would be helping them to find jobs, opportunities in their own language and location. The government wants to that these officials and tech companies should use newest technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning to help job seekers connect with employers, government agencies, skill centers, and external partners. The CEO of Niti Aayog is Amitabh Kant. The chairman is Mr. Narendra Modi, and the vice chairman is Rajiv Kumar. The next news says RBI has laid down rules for HFCs. Now, what does HFC stands for? HFC is a housing finance company. RBI had took over powers to regulate housing finance companies from the National Housing Bank in August 2019. RBI has now proposed certain rules. These are just recommendations and not final rules. Now let's read about what are these rules. It says housing finance would now mean financing for purchase, construction, reconstruction, renovation, repairs of a residential dwelling unit for a whole host of functions that would include giving loans to companies and government agencies for employee housing finance projects. It has also proposed that 50% of net assets of an HFC should be qualifying assets or housing finance, and at least 75% of qualifying assets should be directed towards individual housing loans. HFCs would be given phased timeline of up to 4 years to comply with the new RBI guidelines. They should achieve 60% individual loans by 2022, 70% by 2023, 75% by 2024. Please remember that these are just recommendations and not final guidelines. RBI is yet to come out with the final guidelines. These are just important recommendations. It says that if an HFC does not fulfill the criteria, it will be treated as an NBFC, investment and credit company, and it is required to approach the RBI for conversion of its certificate of registration from HFC to an NBFC ICC. Now, in the comment section, you would write down that what does an NBFC stand for. It also, these guidelines says that HFCs will be treated as one of the categories of NBFCs for regulatory purpose, and it will also come under its direct oversight. The RBI has also classified HFCs into systematically important and non-systematically important. Now, how can we differentiate between both of them? Non-deposit taking HFCs with asset size of rupees 500 crore and above, and all deposit taking HFC irrespective of asset size will be treated as systematically important HFCs. However, HFCs with asset size below rupees 500 crores would be treated as non-systematically important HFCs. Now we have come to the people and news section, in which we are going to talk about the important appointments and resignation, brand ambassadors, and obituaries. A quick important news: JSW Cement has signed Saurav Ganguly and Sunil Chhetri as its brand ambassador. So Saurav Ganguly is the current president of BCCI, which stands for Board of Control for Cricket in India, and Sunil Chhetri is the captain of the Indian national football team. So both of them have been signed as brand ambassadors by JSW Cement. The next news is about Kyrgyzstan, which is a country in Central Asia. The capital is Bishkek. There is an important appointment that has happened in this country. The prime minister has been appointed, and the new prime minister is Kubatbek Bornov. So he succeeded Mohammad Kalai, who had to resign because of the corruption allegation he had on him. Again, an important extension: former Supreme Court judge who was the ombudsman for BCCI and also the ethics officer has been given an extension for 1 year. He was appointed by Supreme Court in February 2019 as BCCI's first ever ombudsman. Ombudsman is basically the grievance officer. He was later given the additional role of ethics officer. This one is also actually an important appointment. Urjit Patel, who was the former RBI governor, the one right before Mr. Shaktikant Das, has been appointed as the chairman of NIPFP. Now, what is this NIPFP? NIPFP stands for National Institute of Public Finance and Policy. It is an economic think tank, and this functions, it's an autonomous research institute which functions under the Ministry of Finance. It's based out in New Delhi. And this appointment of Mr. Patel as a chairman is for a period of 4 years. Now we have come to the last section of the day, that is the important days. So guys, the important international day is the International Yoga Day, which was observed on 21st June. And this was actually an initiative of India. And this was put across to the United Nations in 2014 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And since then, in 2015, it was the first time that International Yoga Day was observed. Since then, this Yoga Day has been observed year on year. This year's theme is yoga at home and yoga with family. And with this, we've come to the end of today's lecture. I hope you guys are able to understand the current affairs. Guys, please make sure that you leave your valuable feedback in the comment section. And if you like the lecture, please give up a like for the same. Thank you for listening and take care.